Kara Zor-El. Hereby declare that 23 will be the best year yet. Let's be honest, babe, it's not a very high bar to clear.
How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my channel and time for another episode of Luke's Reviews. On today's video, after the debuting film of the new DCU kind of left me a little bit unconvinced, can Superman's cousin convince me that we're on a good track? This is my review of Supergirl. In her brief cameo in Superman, we immediately got the gist that Kara Zor-El is nothing like her Boy Scout cousin. Rather than saving squirrels, her days consist of flying off to far-flung corners of the galaxy, orbiting a red sun, and getting drunk as a skunk. Accompanied by her loyal, if slightly destructive companion, Krypto, Kara's gallivanting soon comes to an end when Krypto lands in mortal danger, and it's a race against time for Kara to save her dog whilst also helping a young soul seek revenge along the way. There's no need to go into masses of detail in this video, but when Superman came out last year, I was somewhat lukewarm on the film. And with a year now past, my feelings have mostly remained the same. I thought the film was too cartoonish in nature, needed more groundwork in introducing the state of this universe to us, and given that it was Superman, it never gave me that epic feel. But I was somewhat curious with Supergirl because as far as cinematic adaptations go, this is nearly untouched ground. Yes, I know, we had the 1984 version with Helen Slater, but if you think that film is in any way good, you need your head examined. The trailers had me worried though, because whilst James Gunn was only serving as a producer on the film and you had director Craig Gillespie on to lead the project, this to me just looked like he was trying to do his best James Gunn impression. And sadly, I was right. Supergirl contains a lot of the same tone that Superman did, which, look, for the sake of consistency, that's a win. Congrats. But it also comes dangerously close to Gillespie becoming a nearly 2-hour James Gunn tribute act. What works best in Supergirl is Supergirl herself, Millie Alcock. She is exceptionally well cast as Kara, carrying much of her jadedness and cynical worldview. There's a line I love where she says that Clark sees the good in everyone and she sees the truth. She carries a cool attitude that as she moves forward in this universe will continue to make her a standout character. It's just that in her own movie, she's quite uninteresting. And when I say uninteresting, I don't necessarily mean boring. I just mean plain, simple, unimaginative. Kara is given the makings of a very dark origin story, as she is one of the few Kryptonians that managed to eject from Krypton before its destruction, but even on this small floating rock, she is then befelled by tragedy as pretty much everyone around her is poisoned and dying. It's pretty tragic stuff. But the film only focuses on that very briefly, and it's only for the purpose of her relaying exposition to another character when that should have been the focus of Kara's character. The comic which this film is loosely based on did such a better job at giving Kara much more to do. Her story is so integral and formative for her future. It's dark and it's disturbing, but it's daring. And personally, somewhere I would have liked to see this universe explored, but instead, we are stuck in the Gunverse, where we need jokes, undercutting moments of tension, and random needle drops which I've got some stuff to say. The central adventure Kara and mini Revenger Ruthie go on is just not interesting. Ruthie's family are savagely slain by Mad Max punk-wearing pirate Krem of the Yellow Hills, and Ruthie must embark on this determined adventure to claim his life and avenge their death. It is a tale that has been told to their death, and in the case of Supergirl, it's a tale told not all that well. Eve Ridley doesn't give a bad performance, but there's such little charisma to her. Yes, she's suffered a tragedy, but the film gives us very little reason to care. As for Matthias Schoenaerts, he's basically just doing How to Be a Villain 101. I like the metallic punk design of Krem, but beyond that, there is nothing, absolutely nothing, that can be brought to this character. You may have also seen that Jason Momoa is back in the DC universe, but no, he's not returning as Aquaman, and instead playing a role he has long dreamed to play in the demigod bounty hunter Lobo. Truth be told, I was never sure if Lobo could ever work as a live-action character, but Momoa pulls it off. They have definitely toned down some of his Lobo-isms, but he's tremendous fun in the role and brings a lot of energy to a film that at points sorely needed it. The action is solid. At first, I did have my concerns because Gillespie hasn't really covered action in, I think, any of his films prior to this, and the first couple of fight scenes did give me some cause for concern because it was full of that shaky cam, close-up editing. I cannot stand that style of filmmaking for action scenes. But it plateaued out, and we got some pretty epic confrontations down the line. Now, before we wrap up, I do just want to kind of talk a bit about the score and the soundtrack and how that kind of relates to a larger issue that I have with the film and the universe as a whole. And we all come back to James Gunn. Gillespie, whether consciously or not, is really trying to emanate James Gunn in the film, which I think was your first mistake. Because only James Gunn can really do James Gunn, and even at points, I don't think necessarily James Gunn doing James Gunn is the best of decisions. Because the film should have had bigger balls to stand on its own 2 feet. Gillespie is an accomplished director. He doesn't have to be trying to fit the mold of another filmmaker. The most egregious example of this I can find are the needle drops in Supergirl. Because, yeah, sure, maybe a couple of them work, but for the most part, they're random, they're pointless, they disrupt the events of the film. And there is one such example that, to me, felt criminal. It actually annoyed me to the point where I think I audibly just went,
Turn it off. Turn it off.
There's a great throwdown going on. Supergirl is wrecking shop. She has all of her powers. She is clearing house. And the score is growing and growing. Okay, it's nothing goosebump inducing, but it's building to a moment that should have been the film's highlight. And then the score stops. And we get a stupid ass acoustic version of The Middle play. All while Supergirl is still flying into tanks and throwing people like miles. I was left dumbfounded as to why such a decision was made. And again, I circle back to my points that it's trying way too damn hard to be a James Gunn film. And I think I've read reports that Gunn made that song decision, and I don't get it. Let your superheroes be epic. Stop trying to treat them as a comedic moment or create just these like, oh, like fun, that's different kind of moment. These are gods, especially Superman and Supergirl. These are godlike beings. Let them just have a moment so that we as an audience can relay that sense of awe to them. For the love of God, I swear, if we get a Justice League movie and the moment that they all assemble and there's like a freaking Weezer needle drop, what are we doing? Despite getting quite passionate towards the end there, I actually don't think Supergirl is a bad movie. It's just a frustratingly basic one. A film that could have ushered in a new character, bringing an edge to this universe, wasn't capitalized on, and instead, it was more of a how do we Gunnify Supergirl. Millie Alcock didn't put a foot wrong, and I think she's going to continue to do great work as Kara. I'm intrigued to see more of the relationship between her and Clark, but moving forward, we need to ensure that these directors get to put their own stamp on these films. I know Clayface is coming up, and that's looking to be wildly different to anything we've seen thus far, although why, dear God, is a Clayface solo movie your third feature film in a new universe? That is... That's a video for another time. But next year, we're back with Man of Tomorrow, and I'm just concerned we're narrowing this universe too much, of focusing on just a small group of characters, but also really restricting ourselves to what seems only like one filmmaker can make a movie. We had all of these projects announced by Gunn, and only a small portion of them are actually moving forward. I'm just not sure where we go from here, but I think we need to start taking a little more risk. So I'm going to give Supergirl a 6.5 out of 10. Anyway, guys, those were my thoughts on Supergirl. Let me know, have you had a chance to see the film yet? What did you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And my question to you, who is a director that you would like to see make a movie in the DCU? Tell me the director and tell me the name of the project that you want to see them on. But that is all the time we have for today. So thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Hello, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, make sure to click that like button, and if you aren't already, click that subscribe button too.